we're excited about the fact that we can be part of the consortium and can continuously service the IC community.
Terrific. Great. Thanks, Armando. So once again, these are our packages. We are the lowest cost supplier that's providing the adaptive SEO solutions amidst all the adaptive SEO certified suppliers in the first batch. So we're very proud about that, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you have enough margins, enough room to play with, so that it makes sense to you and you're excited to sell these packages because you're making good money out of it, right? So I just want to now cover what each tier comprises of in terms of actual deliverables, because there's been a lot of confusion about this. Adaptive SEO is great, but what does this translate to in terms of deliverables? So the consortium's put together a consistent level of deliverables that are going to be accompanying each tier. And what differentiates the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the platinum is the amount of work that we'd essentially be doing at each level, right? So the bronze is the lowest level, so obviously there's the lowest amount of work that's happening in the bronze. And then the platinum is the highest level, so there's obviously the highest amount of work that's taking place with the platinum level. Again, feel free to reach out to us one-on-one so that we can actually break this down for you on a sort of a one-on-one basis and get you, a good understanding of this. So in Tier 1, the keyword and competitive research, there's, keyword research, keyword suggestions, creation of Google alerts, creation of goals and analytics. We try and validate your site's W3C compliance, page load time analysis, Google Analytics setup, webmaster setup. We're going to check your site errors. So that's happening as far as the Tier 1 level is concerned. Then you go to the Tier 2, which is your technical SEO fundamentals. Here's where you're looking at the meta tags, you're looking at the alt tags, social sharing, you're looking at robots.txt, you're looking at Google authorship, you're looking at all of your major local listings, which is Google, Yahoo, and Bing being established for you. You're looking at schema optimization that's becoming more and more important, especially if you're sort of like a site that's in, kind of like the restaurant business or like an e-commerce site where you need your products schema optimized. Open graph creation, tag creation implementation, which is very important for Facebook in particular, so that they can index your pages properly. So that's as far as Tier 2 is concerned. Tier 3 is all about content marketing. So there's a creation, content plan creation that accompanies this particular tier. There's blog post creation, PR creation articles, infographic creation, customer reviews, and testimonials incorporated on your website. So this is your third tier. Again, the deliverables vary. How many blogs are going to get created, how many press releases are going to get created every month. It really depends on the package that you go for. It's different for the bronze, it's different for the platinum. It's the lowest for the bronze and the highest for the platinum, right? Tier 4 is all about link building, all about publishing, socializing, and sharing. So there's a lot of industry directory submissions, social bookmarking, blog directory submissions, peer syndications, local citations. You'll see that we've crossed out article syndication because there's a lot of controversy about this activity, and we just try to play it safe. So we don't do any article syndication as far as our adaptive SEO deliverables are concerned. It is an activity that's authorized by the consortiums. You might see this being offered by other suppliers because it is an authorized activity by the consortium. But again, in our experience, it's not got the best results, and there's a lot of question mark around this activity. So we just decided not come cheap. But if your clients do have that kind of a budget, then there is definitely a good syndication strategy that we have, but it's a higher-end strategy. It does, cost a bit more, but it is tried, tested, and proven to work. The other side is the analytics and reporting. So you have your website analysis, competitor analysis, site recommendations, all tied in with monthly activity reporting provided by G-Shift. So that's the platform that we use, and they've compiled a nice little report for adaptive SEO. That's circulated out at the end of the month. That can form the basis for your discussions with the prospects in order to show them results and discuss the defined KPIs at the beginning of the campaign. Very important. So I wanted to kind of summarize the whole adaptive SEO presentation today by this little graphic hopefully gets a smile on everybody's face. Not every client is right for adaptive SEO. This is not a one-size-fits-all, right? So it's very important that you understand when you want to deliver adaptive SEO and when you want to deliver traditional SEO, because look, traditional SEO still works. Adaptive SEO is a way for you to position yourself as being different from the 5 other proposals that prospect is getting, and position yourself differently and put yourself or elevate yourself in a level where you can even command more money for whatever you're pitching to your, whichever package you're pitching to a prospect, because this is what separates you from the rest. All right. So, what kind of a prospect is not right for adaptive SEO? If the prospect does not have a decent budget. Now, as you can see, our lowest price solution is $300 a month. So, if you want to mark it up times 2 or times 3, you're looking at the lowest solution being between $600 and $1,000, right? If you're dealing with very small clients that do not have that sort of a budget, that don't have $600 to $1,000, adaptive SEO is not the right solution for them. So the way that you can position it to them is that, look, let's start you off with traditional SEO because you obviously don't have the budget for doing adaptive SEO, which is what WSI, the worldwide leader in providing internet marketing solutions, recommends for you. But that's okay. Let's start you off with traditional SEO. Let's get you some results. Let's get you some conversions. Let's get you some sales. And then when you have a higher budget, we can graduate you up to an adaptive SEO package, which is what we recommend for you, for businesses. But since you don't have the budget, let's start you off with the traditional SEO campaign. All right. So the first criteria is the budget criteria. If the client doesn't have between $600 and $1,000, they can't really come up with a bronze package. And again, at the end of the day, you as an IC can undercut your margins, and you can probably sell that $300 solution for like $500 or $600. But as we've seen in our experience, we advise you not to cut your margins too much because you're not going to enjoy doing that work. Because at the end of the day, you're going to look at your bottom line and say, what am I doing this work for if I'm not making any money? So we don't recommend you doing that. But if you do want to do it for the experience, you want to put it out there, you want to test out a supplier on their quality, so you just want to, give it as is and just cover your costs for the first particular, campaign, go right ahead. That's a good justification for putting it out there. But in our experience, please make sure that you have a decent margin so you feel happy when you're working on a project and putting in your effort, right? The other potential reasons why a client might not be correct for adaptive SEO or appropriate for adaptive SEO involve around social. So you might have a client that, I don't know, lives in a silo, has no social whatsoever, does not know anybody. I mean, it's hard to imagine of that sort of a concept in today's world, but, has zero social, does not want social at all, does not want you to touch social, or you're faced with another situation where you have a very sort of a high-end client that's doing social internally. They have a whole team that's dedicated to social. They're doing social themselves, and they're not really interested in, and they're happy with their socials. They just want you to come in. They want you to audit their social, but they don't want you touching it. Well, social is a very important part of adaptive SEO. So if you're not getting a buy-in from a client from a social perspective, then it's best to just give them the traditional SEO and let them handle the social aspects themselves. Or you could potentially still do adaptive SEO as long as you're in control of the social and working with their team very closely in order to deliver the social part appropriately, right? So here's a couple of situations that I've described to you. The most important being the budget, and of course the other main aspect is the fact that SEO, whether it's traditional SEO or adaptive SEO, and more so adaptive SEO in particular, takes time to deliver results. This is not an overnight strategy. If a client is looking for immediate results, there's always paid advertising, which is a great option for him. So you can do a combination of adaptive SEO and paid advertising, which is long-term and short-term together. So again, the main criteria is the budget, but then there's these other several criteria that you need to consider. And home office has put together a great list of what prospects write for SEO in the back end. When you go through your certification process, they outline over 8 or 10 different criteria that help you identify what clients write for adaptive SEO, which one is not, right? So you wanted to make sure that you get that message across really properly. That one size does not fit all in this case. Again, a little bit about us. We're very, very excited to bring adaptive SEO to the ICs, and we thank the Home Office for making us a part of the first batch of suppliers that's been certified to deliver adaptive SEO. We're very excited about that. Again, if you have any questions or you want to set up a one-on-one consultation with us, here's our contact information. Please reach out to us so we can actually do a consultation with you one-on-one. I do have some questions, so I see there's some questions here, so I'm going to start taking the questions now. Okay, great. So we got a nice list of questions here. I'm going to start covering them. So the first questions are from Joe. What's the right mix of the right keywords? Also, how many keywords should you target? So the number of keywords that you should be targeting, Joe, really depends on the package level. So in the bronze, for example, in our instance, I believe there's about 5 to 7 keywords that we're targeting, and in the highest packages, I believe about 25 or 30 keywords that we're targeting, but we can send you the actual packages. So the number of keywords depends on the budget for our client. Because the more keywords that we want to target, then there's more deliverables that we need to do every month, so as to make sure that each keyword's getting the right sort of attention. What's the right mix for the right keywords? Again, it depends on what the prospect's looking for, and you have to strike a balance based on the conversation with the prospect. In my opinion, it's always good to go after the low-hanging fruit first. So if you can get 100% mix of the low-hanging fruit, remember, you can always change up keywords even during the actual process of delivering the adaptive SEO solution. So let's say you choose a mix of 10 keywords that are the low-hanging fruit, where let's say the client's already ranking from 11 to 20 based on our initial analysis. We want to get them in the top 3 because that's where the action happens. That's where they're going to get the most amount of click-throughs. That's where they're going to get the best bang for their buck. If they're sitting on position 11, which is essentially page 2, they're not really getting the traction. Based on a recent study that was done by, I believe it was ClickTail, one of the companies, where they talked about the fact that if you're ranked position 1, you're getting between 15 and 20% of all the searches, click-throughs for searches. And then if you're position 10, it's down to 1%. And then position 11, it just starts going into the decibels. So again, the idea is to go off the low-hanging fruit, get them in the top 3, and then you can always switch up the keywords, go after other ones, while monitoring these other keywords to make sure that they're not losing ground, not losing position, right?
Just one key, sorry, we need to interject. Just to kind of add to the first question, with the adaptive SEO program, ideally what you want to do is target 1 keyword per page, right? So, depending also, may depend on the client's website, if they only have 10 or 15 or 20 pages or only 5 pages. So it's very important that we also keep that in mind in regards to the number of keywords that you want to allocate to the program.
Yep, that's a good observation, Armando, and this goes back to the Hummingbird update. The whole idea is for your strategy per page to have 1 keyword theme, so that you're not just ranking for the main keyword, you're also ranking for subsets of that keyword, because that whole page resonates that one theme for that particular keyword, right? Sergio has a question. Can ALM run an adaptive SEO campaign in Portuguese? Not from Brazil, but from Portugal. Sergio, unfortunately, we do not have that capability. We are strictly focused on English. I know Carlos in Prospect Factory is running adaptive SEO for Mexico in Spanish. He's the authorized supplier. Carlos is a great guy. He's a bag of information. He's got a lot of information. I could perhaps check with Carlos and have him get back to you, Sergio, whether Prospect Factory can help you out. But I'll touch base with Carlos and have him get in touch with you, Sergio. If you could send me an email, that'd be terrific at info@wsialm.com. We take care of that. Having said that, we can always help you with web development, right? There's no language needs there. Leslie has a question on the Tier 2 page. You mentioned Google Places. Is this the same as Google Plus local pages? It essentially is, because everything's kind of blended together, Leslie, and there's a very funny image that I'll circulate out to you separately that talks about how many name changes this whole Google local thing has kind of gone through. You know, it became, it was Google Places, became Google Plus Places, it became Google Plus Maps Places. It's all over the place, but it's essentially the same thing, which is make sure that your Maps listing, your local listing in Google is verified, optimized, completely, right? Hermit has sorry if I massacred the pronunciation there, has a question on which keyword research tools do you prefer today? Good question. As I mentioned, we rely heavily on keyword tools like the base is the Google keyword tool. Then we look at tools like SEMrush. We love SEMrush primarily because we don't have to type in specific keywords just to get competitive feedback. We can just put in a website URL, and in one of our LaunchPad webinars, we did review SEMrush in detail, where you just put in the URL, and it actually shows you all the keywords that the site is ranking for and the potential search volume for those keywords, and how much is the site benefiting by ranking for that particular keyword. So that's a very useful tool that we use. So we primarily use SEMrush, we use Moz, and we also utilize Google's keyword tool, which is the standard. John had a question. Was the name of the tool Outrank? No, it's actually Outrank. No, sorry, Outbrain. So it's OUTBRAIN. So matter of fact, John, do participate in our webinar next week, because we'll actually be doing a case study on Outbrain with a content syndication exercise that we did with one of our top-tier clients. And we're actually going to show you the back-end interface of Outbrain, how it works, how you set up campaigns, how it syndicates articles. We can syndicate articles, videos, like a whole bunch of different things, and it actually works in a cost-per-click format, but it's a great syndication tool because your client's getting exposure on top-level sites like CNN, Fox, etc. And there's great geo-targeting even for Canada. For some of the Canadian ICs that are logged on, it's a great tool because it actually targets some top-tier Canadian sites as well. The U.S. is where it's based out of. That's where the best traction is. Lynn has a question on, please outline the basic differences between packages. Lynn, could you send us an email at info@wsialm.com? Again, I didn't want to do it in this particular session because it would have just stretched the session out too long. But definitely send us an email, and we'd organize a one-on-one consultation with you, and we'll send you across a copy of our packages. Is there a difference for B2B versus B2C? There's no particular difference. However, as I mentioned, we can always customize the solution so as to understand your prospect better, delivering in the tiered structure, right? So you always have tier 1 to tier 5 in order to follow the adaptive SEO methodology, but we can always tweak the deliverables so as to ensure that we're focusing on the right target audience for your end prospect. Joe has a question on getting examples for content that we've created. Joe, just shoot us an email, info@wsialm.com, and we can send you across tons of examples of articles. We started creating infographics of white papers, and we've now started actually dabbling with explainer videos as well, because explainer videos work very well from a conversion perspective. So we've started doing explainer videos, and we can send you examples of that. Can I get a sample of one of your content plans? You certainly can, Joe. Just shoot us an email, and we'll take care of that for you. Heidi has a question on, do you also have a price list for traditional SEO? I'd like to have both the documents if possible. We certainly do, Heidi. As a matter of fact, our local SEO package is very popular because, again, we've priced it at just the right level for the ICs to have some good markups for clients that don't have a lot of budgets. It's only priced at $150, which is our traditional SEO local campaign. So, again, if you can just shoot me an email, Heidi, at info@wsialm.com. We can definitely send across the packages to you. Great. That's all the questions that we have. Again, it's been a really exciting session. I hope it was beneficial. I'd love to get some feedback from all of you, so feel free to post up your feedback on K2 or Google Groups, or just email us directly with your feedback on what you have to say as far as adaptive SEO is concerned. That would be terrific. And again, we'd be having ongoing sessions with adaptive SEO We're also planning to have an IC panel discussion. So we'll be inviting some ICs in one of our LaunchPad editions so as to have a panel discussion around adaptive SEO and address some of the questions that the ICs feet on the street that they essentially that they encounter. Daniel, very good. Must get certified ASAP. Yes, you definitely should. It's a very simple certification process. I think I covered half of the material, or more than half of the material in today's presentation. So definitely get certified because this is a game changer. It's like separating you from everybody else out there. Terrific. Great. Thanks everybody for attending this session, and hope everybody has a terrific week. Thanks everyone.